Hello, Steve Arts 89. Well, Halloween ends a year later. I didn't know what to make of this film when I saw it. I saw it for the first time on Blu-ray last year, 2022. I didn't see it in the cinema. Um, and I really didn't know what to make of it because this was supposed to be a trilogy and it's been a bit of a mess. And it's not really till you look at it and watch it and have a bit of distance from it and then watch it again that you realise just how much of a mess it actually was. Now, the film itself could have been an interesting horror movie in itself, but it doesn't work as a Halloween film, and it certainly doesn't work as part of and the end part of this trilogy that they were trying to establish. And I don't even know how much effort they put into that, because the first film really was sold and promoted like a one-off film, Jamie Lee Curtis coming back and, finally taking her power back and, being victorious over Michael Myers was what we were promised. And we kind of got that until we got to the end and it was all undone and led into, the sequel and supposedly a trilogy. And I sort of was annoyed. I'm like, well, so long as they basically do the same thing over the whole trilogy and at the end, she gets that same sort of vengeance. And she does, but it's like they just tacked it on the end of a whole nother movie. It's just really strange. And I mean, I've seen this happen with other franchises where they'd have one movie, a hit movie, or maybe two or three hit movies, and they had a formula that fans liked, but either the creatives all left or they just didn't know how to handle it or they didn't want to do it again. So they just do something else, whether it's writing like a whole nother film into the IP or whether it's like buying a script for a film they thought worked and then just sort of tacking the sort of the elements of the franchise onto it so they can sell it as part of that franchise. So you see that with things like The Howling and Hellraiser. They're like the best examples of people just buying other scripts and having it rewritten to fit into the franchise and use the same characters when it really doesn't work. Although they work on their own as horror movies, but as part of the overall, it doesn't work when you sort of abandon the elements of the franchise and the format and the formula and the characters and all that you've established that fans are coming back to see. It just doesn't work. So this film, they just throw everything out. They just throw everything out. The first film, like I said, very much seemed like its own film, but then it's like they just added a new ending on it and decided to do a trilogy. And they only had enough for one film, and they only had one idea for one film. And how they repeated the same mistakes that the original films made. The first film was great. The second film, they basically left the main actress in a hospital bed and barely doing anything all movie and have other characters sort of running around. And then the third film had nothing to do with the first film or the second film. And the only thing that it references is it actually in-universe references the TV show, which, the movie on TV, it's just... And we never heard from, the Halloween 3 universe again, because no one wanted that. And they went back and they sort of, did Halloween 4 and that really worked. So with this film, like I said, it's like they just tacked on the ending that we wanted for the trilogy to a whole nother film because they didn't have anything to go. They don't continue any of the stories of any of the other characters or anything they were building up in the first two films. It's just 4 years later, Michael just disappeared and now we're just doing a different story. And then Michael's going to pop up at the end and, so him and Jamie can have one last fight and she can win and, But had they done that, though, that would have maybe worked as its own film. But unfortunately, they misuse Michael, where they keep having Michael interact with Corey. And, it just doesn't make any sense. And it's just degrading and just disgraceful and disheartening to see how they've treated Michael, where he's just this thing hiding in a sewer for no reason. I mean, he killed everyone at the end of the last film. Then he just goes and hides in the sewer for no reason. And then Corey literally beats him up and takes his mask in one scene. I'm just like, the only way this could be saved is if this was him, Corey, imagining all this and this was his illusion, his obsession with Michael or something. And had they framed it that way, where he was obsessed with Michael and being a copycat, and then at the end Michael shows up and kills him, that would have worked, except they have him interact with him twice, where it basically treats Michael like a bitch. and it just doesn't work. So yeah, I don't know how I'm going to watch this film year to year, because I watch the films every year on Halloween. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I don't know. Now, the other issue is, where do they go now for TV series? Because Miramax, I think, just got the rights from Mustafa Akkad's son, Malek Akkad, Trancas International Films. Basically, they sold the rights to Miramax, and they're going to do a TV series. Now, A4 or whatever it's called is already doing one with Friday the 13th. These could be amazing. These could be great. These could be Bates Motel, but they could be a complete disaster either. So it's really hard to tell how this is going to go. Depends on who they get, what they're trying to achieve. It's just the unknown, and I'm a little scared, because we've seen a lot of misfires, a lot of people who don't know the franchises being taken over and wanting to take it in some direction no one else wants to go in. We've seen people just totally avoid canon and all that for new audiences, because they don't want them to have to know that the franchise, the canon, the lore, all of that. And that's kind of the point. That's why people come back, because they want to go back into that world. They want to, it's just, I just don't know where this is going to go. And I was trying to do this in 5 minutes. I failed. But yeah, I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of Halloween Ends. It's so many things wrong with it. Like the fact that it would take a 20-minute video to talk about all the individual issues that's wrong with the film. But ultimately, they just did a totally unrelated film within the final film of the franchise, and it's just I can't explain it. But yeah, I'm gonna go.